If I was speaking to an auditorium full of people and I asked for a raise of hands from those who enjoy receiving a compliment, what do you think the results would be? You're right. Probably every hand in the house would go up, correct? Probably every hand would, because we all enjoy hearing something nice said about ourselves. It shows us that someone appreciates us, that they value us. It puts a smile on our face. It encourages us. It lifts our spirits. And it makes us feel good, right? I actually enjoy handing out compliments on a daily basis. It's a habit for me. I don't flatter people. I make sure that whatever I say is absolutely sincere. I find something that I can appreciate, something that is truly pleasing, and I point it out to the person, even total strangers, and I'll say, I really like this or that, or it could even be a tattoo. It could be the way a person does their nails. It could be the way they do any number of things. It could be something that you can see they spent time on, something they've worked hard at. Compliments could be simply remarks on the aesthetic. You could remark on how well someone plays a game, how well they play an instrument, or how they personally attire themselves. And so that's a compliment, but a tribute is something, could be something altogether. A tribute is a compliment, but it's much greater than that, because a tribute talks about you as a person regardless of and in spite of everything else. It's not discarding everything else about you, but it is talking about you as a person. That's what a tribute is. We usually see this in the form of a eulogy. You go to a funeral and you hear people stand up and say wonderful things about the person, despite how horrible they might have been in real life, right? As they were walking around, living and breathing, they might have been horrible to everybody, but people like to put a cap on it. That's their way of bringing closure to something and knowing that they handled something by taking the high road and saying something nice about them, even if it's not true. You know, I guess, what are you going to do, right? You're going to get up and say awful things. Those are tributes. But I don't endorse insincere tributes. And that's not even what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the perfect tribute. One that you could receive from others and one that you could give to others at any time throughout your life. Okay, here's an illustration. Here's a memory that someone shared some years ago that's going to illustrate exactly what the perfect tribute is. And I really hope that you take it to heart and that you let it stick. And I want you to think about this the rest of the day after you've heard of this. Okay, and I want you to embrace it and think about how you could apply it to your life. Here's the memory that someone shared. All right. This is contributed by a woman named Elizabeth Mosk. It said, on her frequent trips to Temuco, Chile, an old Araucanian Indian woman used always to bring my mother a few partridge eggs or a handful of berries. My mother spoke no Araucanian beyond the greeting, my, and the old woman knew no Spanish, but she drank tea and ate cake with many an appreciative giggle. We girls stared fascinated at her layers of colorful hand-woven clothing, her bracelets and necklaces, and we vied with each other in trying to memorize the sing-song phrase she always spoke on rising to leave. At last, we learned the words by heart and repeated them to the missionary who translated them for us. They have stayed in my mind as the nicest compliment ever uttered. I shall come again, for I like myself when I'm near you. This woman who's recalling a childhood memory looks back on a time when her mother spent time with someone who did not speak her language, someone who, for all intents and purposes, really didn't have a whole lot in common with her. She dressed differently, probably ate differently, lived a completely different lifestyle because of culture, differences in culture. And for some reason or another, this family found themselves in the presence of just a different way of living. And yet, Her mother found a way of making friends with someone who had really basically nothing in common with her, and these girls could observe this. And even though no words were understood, there was an appreciation for the differences between these people, and the appreciation harvested good feelings between both parties. And even though they couldn't understand each other, they listened intently enough to be able to pick up on at least the cadence, the rhythm, and the sounds, and the syllables in what was said, to be able to memorize it and repeat it. And someone was fortunate enough to come along and translate it for them. And when they did, they realized the whole time they were being complimented in the most perfect way. How would you love to hear someone say, "I shall come again, for I like myself when I am near you"? You know, it's one thing to meet people, and it's one thing to like them, and for them to like you. It's another thing for them to keep coming back. It's another thing for them to keep coming back. Why would somebody come back to you and spend time with you? Because they like themselves when they're near you. You know, this is the basis for every relational attraction in human history. The only reason we're attracted and want to spend more time with anybody is because of the way they make us feel when we are with them. You know, I understood that a long time ago. The only reason I would love any woman is because of the way she makes me feel about myself. The only reason any woman would love a man is because of the way he makes her feel about herself when she's with him. But it doesn't have to end just there. You don't have to have a whole lot in common with anybody else. You don't have to share cultures. You don't have to even share political beliefs, religious beliefs. You don't even have to approve of someone's lifestyle. You can appreciate a person for who they are just because they're a human being. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't rotten, miserable souls out there who you should shun, who you should push away and keep at arm's length. There absolutely is. But that's not everybody, and I wouldn't say that's even the majority of people. But you can, in spite of differences, show appreciation, observe the way someone is. You don't have to embrace that for yourself, but you can show appreciation. You can smile, you can spend time, you can sit in someone's presence, and if the spirit is right, it is felt, it is tangible. And there's nothing better, in my opinion, than making someone feel good about themselves. In spite of what they might feel, what they might think, what they might believe, how they might live. There's a lot of people whose beliefs are in direct opposition to mine. There's a lot of people whose lifestyles are in complete opposition to mine that I don't even agree with, but I can still have a spirit of conviviality, and I can still be friendly. I can still smile, and I can still say nice things about them. And that's the trick. That's the trick in all of this. It doesn't have to be perceived as flirting. It doesn't have to be perceived as being completely open and tolerant. Tolerance is somewhat of a myth. Tolerance doesn't mean that you embrace everything that someone else does, everything that someone else says, what they believe and how they live. That's not tolerance. In fact, that's foolish. But it's just simply saying, I appreciate you because you are a fellow human being, and you can find something that you do appreciate. I'm coming at a loss for words here because I got too many things running through my head. But understand the main point here is that despite the differences, you can make someone else feel good about themselves and show appreciation. And it'll make all the difference in the world. And when someone does it to us, it makes us feel pretty good too. You should be able to recognize that. But all too often, there are too many people who are good at receiving compliments And they're terrible at giving them. Terrible at giving them. The perfect tribute. I shall come again, for I like myself when I'm near you. Almost as if to say, I lose something when I'm not. I hope that when someone else's life rubs up next to yours, that they are better for it, not worse off because of it. You know, years ago, I knew a pastor who once said that when he was a little boy, growing up in the South, he loved to eat biscuits with lots and lots of jelly on it. Lots and lots of jelly. And inevitably, he would drip jelly all down the front of him. He'd get it all over his hands. And everything he touched actually got jelly on it and became sticky. And his mother always knew where he had been because she'd find jelly on different things and know that, man, everywhere you go, Lamar, there's jelly. I know where you've been because it's come into contact with you. I hope that people's lives are better because they've come into contact with yours. Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget the way you made them feel. All right, guys. I hope that that means something to you. I hope you took it to heart. And if you have, hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Today, in my beard, well, today I decided to take the easy road. I did not style my beard. I let it go natural, and I actually rather would do that anyway. I didn't use a blow dryer on it. I didn't try to shape it in any particular way. I let my beard do what it did. And when I got out of the shower, I did wash with Husky beard wash and conditioner. In fact, I'm wearing the Husky T-shirt right here. Pretty neat, right? Pretty neat. And then when I got out of the shower, I put the Husky beard Zen. Let's see if I can get that in there into the camera. It's really bright out here. There you go. There you go. The Zen beard oil and the Zen, after I let it dry for a little bit, then I put the Zen whipped beard cream. I know it's kind of hard to see. The sunlight's really wacky. But that's what I did in my beard today. Leaves my beard feeling really soft. I don't know if you've ever tried Husky beard products before, but if you haven't, I'll put the link below, and you can use my code to get 15% off of anything you purchase from them, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So there's my 2 cents. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the outro that I've added to this video. I want you to have a good day, and I hope that whoever you're rooting for in the Super Bowl wins. I don't really have a dog in the fight, but I am going to enjoy the game because these are 2 spectacular teams, the Chiefs and the 49ers. And just stay safe out there and learn to make other people's lives better by appreciating them as a person and offering a tribute to them. All right, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.